How you all doing? So, at the end of my last video, I had brought up the possibility of granting an extension or an incomplete to a student. Now, normally, during a semester when we don't have a pandemic, I do not grant incompletes. And under rare circumstances, once the associate dean gets involved, a student may, but generally does not, get an incomplete. However, this semester is quite different. This semester, there's been a temporary policy change and some temporary grade assignment changes due to the pandemic that comes from above the associate dean. And we've been asked to be quite liberal with granting of incompletes. Now, at the beginning of the semester, I let you know that if you had asked me for some consideration or to be treated in a different way from other students, that I would generally say no, unless if I could do that for all students. So I've had students say, I've got a 56. Can you just kind of look the other way and give me those 4 points? And I would say, no, I can't do that because I'm not willing to give everyone else 4 points on their average. It would just be an inaccurate reflection of everybody's grade, including the student that got the 56. And the other thing is that instructors in the past that do things like this, not all of them, but some of them, it's grounds for dismissal. So I'm looking at it from a point of fairness, to all students, and also because I want to keep my job. Now, this goes both ways. Since administration has asked us to be quite liberal with the handing out of incompletes, what that tells me is that any student that wants an incomplete will get it. So I'm extending this to absolutely all students. So I'm going to bring up a presentation and I'll talk you through this and let you know how this is going to go. In some cases, granting the incomplete will be automatic depending on your grade. In some cases, it won't. And if you do want to end at the end of the semester and not get it incomplete, it's something that you might need to tell me or vice versa. But let's get to the presentation right now. So this applies only to spring 20. So if you're here for another semester, hopefully this pandemic isn't still going on. But if it still is, I'll make another video as appropriate. But this is just for the spring 20 and the assignment of incomplete grades if you need more time to do your work. Now, there's been some new grades that have been designated this semester because of the circumstances. We were suddenly sent home in March and forced to do everything online, which is not ideal. I mean, if I had to choose between teaching a course face-to-face or online, face-to-face is generally superior at teaching the students. But now neither you nor I are given a choice, so we have to do this online. So this semester, there's been two new grade designations due to COVID-19. One is the incomplete due to COVID-19, and the other is the withdrawal due to COVID-19. And normally during the semester, we do have these grades. We have an I and we have a W. And the IE and the WE are just for this semester because of COVID-19. The IE is just a designation. The student isn't assigned a grade at the end of the semester, and they're given an extension, more time to do their work. And the WE just means the student did not complete their work, but they're assigned this grade, and it doesn't affect the GPA. But the WE will still appear on the transcript. So it's just like an I or a W for other semesters, except there's a designation there to remind someone who's looking at this 10 years from now that something happened that was different, and it was COVID-19. So this semester, I'm not giving out any Ds or Fs. So the end of the semester, it's May 8th, and the grades will be calculated. So this is what I'm going to be doing. A's, B's, and C's will be awarded for averages greater than 69.4 is appropriate. So if you got an A, a B, or a C, I'm just going to put your grade in there, and that's your grade. And the students that would have normally received a D or an F, I'm going to give you an IE. So this is going to be automatic. And I know that there are some students that fall into either of these categories that don't want this to happen. So I've got a slide at the end that addresses this. So if you're going to get an A, B, or C, I'm going to give you your grade. And if you would have gotten a D or an F, I'm just going to give you an IE. So I will automatically grant an incomplete. There are some students that haven't done anything online. They've just kind of become ghosts. And this will give them an opportunity to do the work if they feel like they want to do that. Chem 152A has been phenomenal. Okay, so if you're in Chem 152A, all but 3 students have been keeping up with their work. The other classes, Chem 131C, Chem 151A, and Chem 152B, are the opposite. In those classes, 3 or 4 students are keeping up, but everyone else is either falling behind, and most students in those classes have become ghosts. So if you're in Chem 152A, good job. I mean, most of the students there are keeping up. The other classes, if you're one of the students that have been keeping up, and you most likely are if you're watching this video, good job. But most of the students in the classes there have become ghosts. So those granted extensions, the due dates for the newer Newton assignments will be moved to 1 week before the new deadline. And the due dates for unattempted is not a real word. You can see it's underlined in red. But for those assignments that you have not attempted, and that means the exams. If you've already attempted the exams and gotten a grade, you won't be able to do them again. But the due dates for the unattempted exams will be moved to the last week before the new deadline. And for those students that are in this position, your Newton subscription will be extended. So if you are granted and incomplete due to COVID, the IE grade, I'm going to give your name to Newton, and they will extend your subscription. I can't do anything about the other resources in the class. So if you have a textbook rental or something like that, I'm sure that you can probably make arrangements with whomever that is to grant an extension, because people have been granting extensions quite liberally this semester due to these things. There's been a lot of things going on, as you're aware, keeping up with all the news. I mean, if you want to see Donald Trump on TV, you can watch him for 2 hours now every day since this happened. Anyway, so when's the new deadline? Well, this depends on your student status. So we've got some high school students in the class, and we've got some students who aren't high school students. So high school students, it's going to be around the first or second week in May. I have to contact your liaison, your principal, or your advisor to make arrangements. So in some cases, I have to assign you a grade at a certain period in time. And this depends on which program you're in. So once the incomplete, the IE is awarded, I'll have to email you and let you know when your new deadline is. Now, college students who aren't in some specific program, it's around the last week in July. It's a little vague right now, but I'll give you the Newton assignments will be assigned with a definite date on them when this happens. So what happens at the end of the extension? So your due dates will be there, as you know, and the day after, I calculate the grade. Grades of A, B, or C, I'll assign those as appropriate for those with an average greater than 69.5. But for those students that still would have gotten a C or a D, a D or an F, I'm just going to give you a WE. Okay, so the extension will give you some time to get that D or an F up. And if at that time you've chosen not to do any more work and you're still going to get your D or your F, then I'll just give you a WE. So you'll see that on your transcript that you withdrew from the class, and it won't affect your GPA. Okay, so the good news, it doesn't affect your GPA. The bad news is that if you needed Chem 151 or 131 or 152, whichever course you happen to be in for your program, you've got to take it again. So it might be that you don't want this to automatically happen. So contact me if either of these two circumstances apply to you. Okay, if you will pass at the end of the semester with an A, B, or C, but you still want more time. Hey, if that's the case, you're going to get a C and you want more time, contact me. Okay, once I assign your grade, once your grade goes up there, it's going to be very difficult to reverse that. Okay, so if you know you want more time, just send me an email. Mr. Liu, I'd like some more time. I know I'm probably going to get a C, but I would like to do some work and maybe get an A. I mean, if you've already taken all the exams, it's pretty much most of the work done there. I mean, there's still Newton, that's a large portion of your grade. But if you want more time to take one of the semester exams or even the final, that's a good thing. Okay, just let me know. Or if you fail at the end of the semester, but you'd rather have that, you'd rather have it over with and not bother with the additional amount of time, I'll just assign you a WE instead of an IE. Okay, but the only grades that I'm awarding for these courses during this semester are A, B, C, or WE. So we're almost done. There's one more chapter, if that, to be posted, and I still have to post a COVID-19 paper that I'll have due during finals week. But when the last chapter goes up, it'll be labeled. And if there's one more chapter to go, you'll see the second to last chapter, but pretty much nearing the end of the semester. So as always, if you've got some questions, need some clarification about something, just let me know.